And now, the world's favorite E-grade team, the Beans.
Wowzers, boys. Welcome to the NBeanA podcast. Beans. You're joined by me, your boy Lockstock, Mitch Watson, aka Herzl, aka Zero Ice. No ice there.
No
Zero
ice. Double zero.
You got Chinnick, aka doesn't own a jersey.
That's right, dude.
And you've got Bradley, the old bean, aka I can't remember what was on the back of your jersey.
Garlic Brad.
Garlic
He
Brad.
can't remember either because he's old.
Yeah.
Dementia.
Is that a Michigan jumper, Brad? Nice.
Yes. Yeah, no, it is.
Nice.
I rate that.
Nice. All right.
Go Boston.
Today,
Go Boston.
tonight, we're talking the playoffs, and we've got a bunch of the normal stuff as well. We've got Mitch's multis, and then at the end we'll have players to watch. You know how it goes here. You know how it goes.
The usual.
Should we just jump into it?
I guess
Sweet.
so.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Which
I
one
guess
should we
Herzl
start
takes
with?
charge on the first one. Do we want to talk about?
Had that already happened? No, there was one game.
I hadn't
left, I
finished.
think.
It was two games in. We were up 2-0. But
There was no yarn.
let's quickly say, Mitch and Lockie said Heat in 6. Brad and I said Heat in 5. And Chinnick said Bucks in 7. Heat 1 in 5. Heat 1 in 5. So, yeah, we're all
Unlucky
pretty...
chin.
That's a
I
full
don't think
point
anyone
for
saw.
us.
No one saw that coming. Like I know Herzl.
I called it in the first episode. I said Miami will beat
did.
Milwaukee in the playoffs.
Yeah, but
That'll
come on,
be-
like,
No,
that
but
was a
no
bit
one
of a
called
miss.
it. No one called it. Yeah.
No one called
Yeah.
5 games, yeah.
That was
But
fucked.
the big story was probably Giannis was hurt for
Going down, yeah.
for games 3, 4, and 5. But you'd think he probably was carrying some sort of injury.
So what did the injury end up being?
It was a pretty bad ankle sprain.
Yeah.
But I was saying the whole time, I was actually saying to the boys, I am not going to say anything about Giannis' performance until after this series.
Right.
Safety.
Yeah.
Scary dude.
But Jay Crowder, Iguodala, they were all doing a really good job of keeping Giannis in front of them, which is what you need to do with Giannis. That's a very hard task. I'm just thinking that maybe he couldn't get past him as easy because he was a bit hurt. And obviously
definitely
just
have something to do with it.
kept aggravating it. That's just we're never really going to know that if he really reached it to aggravate it more. But he
Got
put
to
on
be
a bit of
healthy
a
for the
show.
Warriors next season.
The one game Milwaukee did win, he played I think it was 11 minutes and scored 19 points and 6 rebounds or something ridiculous like
Isn't
that.
insane?
And then it was a pretty close game in the end, but obviously Milwaukee got that one. But Miami were just too good.
Just
as
too
a
good in the end.
team defense as well.
They're playing
It was just
depth.
complete depth, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Having guys like Iguodala coming off the bench, a Finals MVP.
You don't
I
mind
think
that.
there's 4 All-Stars on that team: Iguodala, Butler, Dragic, and now Bam Adebayo this year. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to get too cocky, but Tyler Hero has definitely shown he's got that ability to be able to
Yeah.
be good.
Yeah.
Hit a
I
few
would
big shots.
And it's like I wouldn't have expected Tyler Hero to come out like he did in these playoffs, but
No.
he showed up
he's
big
the
time.
leading rookie scorer in the playoffs. He hit some big shots.
So-
In the
He
game
just
they
backs
did
himself,
lose.
doesn't he?
Yeah, the game Miami did lose. He hit a go-ahead 3 in the last minute, and he also hit a 3 with 3 seconds to go in overtime to make him down by 1 point.
Was that also the game that you said the night before that Tyler Hero hasn't scored under 15 points a game for the playoffs? And then he went on to score under 15 points in the
Yeah, I think he scored 13. I think that might have been game 3. I said he hasn't scored under 15.
Yeah.
And which is like, okay, how's he going
And
on
me-
it? And then he
Me and Mitch
scored
were like,
13.
that's a fucking jinx.
I
You
was gonna
just
say, I
jinxed
wouldn't have said
yourself.
that.
He just jinxed it.
But
No, good on him.
he's looking like a bit of a killer. Like he did hit a buzzer beater against Philadelphia in the regular season as well. Don't know if you remember that one, but that was a big shot.
It's a pretty young team there, isn't it?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
20 years old.
And then you got
And they
Kendrick
got
Nunn, who's
Kendrick
young.
Nunn,
You
he's a
got
rookie.
Duncan Robinson, he's
Yeah.
sophomore in his second year.
Yeah, second year.
But he played
played
full time at college, right? So he's what, 24, 25 or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Dinosaur.
Yeah, so you got other young guys as well, like Bam Adebayo's still in his rookie contract. That's ridiculous.
Shit, really?
Shit.
Yeah, you get a lot of guys like Bam, I think Tatum and Ben Simmons as well. They all sort of really step up in their last year of their rookie contract, and that's when you need to get your most production out of your first round picks.
Yeah, 100%.
When they're still on small bucks, and you can get
What pick
what
was
Philly
he?
did. I think they had about 13 or 14.
Yeah.
But like what Philly did, they had they were able to bring in like Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris because they still had Ben Simmons on his rookie contract. That can go a long way to
that's
help your
when you
team.
can really make the most of it, isn't it?
Yeah,
And then another notable thing for that I just wanted to quickly bring up about the Miami Heat too is that they have almost every single game they've got a different leading scorer. So they've had Adebayo, Jimmy Butler a few times, Dragic. It's just
There's a lot of people that can
beautiful.
step up for them.
It's good
And
stuff.
then and there's so much consistent scoring as well from the support cast.
Mm.
Oh,
yeah.
Like talking about like Bam Adebayo and stuff like the players that can step up and do the like leading scorer, they're still giving you 15 points a night.
Yeah, like Kelly Olynyk, as much as Mitch hates him, he'll come in and score you 10 points most
he's been
nights,
so good.
which is really good to have off the bench. It's like a guy who can come off and score 10 points. It's handy. I think you'll find most nights Miami's bench outscores the other team as well. I think they did it for the whole
I'll tell you what he
season.
should do. He should come off the bench, walk out the door, get in his car and go home. Just seriously. And on the way home, go past a barber. Because far out.
And now that we've
is
got
way
video,
cool.
we can see the anger in person.
You can
Go
see
and
Mitch
go
going,
and
I'm trying really
He's
hard.
about a Linux.
I'm trying really hard to contain it because
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for Mitch to just go. Oh, just punch his camera.
Yeah, just
Gone.
Mitch Watson has left the chat. So what do we think it was in the end? Do we think? Well, one obviously it was the lack of Giannis, but do we think it was just the depth that really got him over the line?
Yeah, I think Milwaukee
consistent
can be a
depth.
bit one-dimensional
Yeah.
and they got exposed last year as well. Chris Middleton's not reliable enough as a second
Yeah, right.
option.
Mhm.
He did.
And it's like you boys
to
were
his credit
saying.
though, stepped up.
Yeah, he did step up quite a
No,
fair
you're right.
bit, but he had
It's
to be
like-
the first option for most of it.
Yeah.
You boys were saying that most of their plays at Milwaukee are run for Giannis, and when you don't have Giannis on the floor, what are they going to do?
Yeah. And even when they're not running plays, the way that they score is the defense will draw into Giannis and he'll dish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I do really want to just give Chris Middleton some credit because when Giannis actually was out, he did step
He
up
did.
and sort of ball out. Like he had that
hit a
36
few big
8,
shots as well.
So yeah, I think that's a good sign for him. But I don't think he's a second star on a team. You know, I think he's
He's just
like
not
one of those
consistent
third
enough, you
options. You know, I think he's one
And
of
I
those
think-
third options.
Mm.
Yeah, I think he's going to be out, or it's Giannis going to be out. It's one of the two
Yeah.
leaving this year, and there's a lot of talk of Chris Middleton maybe getting shipped to OKC.
I think any team will happily take him.
Any
Oh,
team
yeah,
will
no
help him.
doubt.
It's definitely not a detriment, but
Like you could swap him for like a Levine and be happy with that decision, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know they get some experience and
because he's getting pretty good assist numbers as well. Like he's not afraid to
Yeah,
share
it's
the
not-
ball.
not bad
Yeah.
at all.
But in saying that,
not
like in
an
the last
all-star.
game, he shot 8 from 25.
Yeah,
Like,
Yikes.
yeah, he'll give you those games. That's the only problem.
That's my 2K numbers this year. Woeful.
I was going to bring up a few of the depoy players, but we'll wait and do that after the series. Hey, that was the
I
plan for that.
actually
Yeah.
just remembered we said we were going to talk about 2K. Do we still want to talk about 2K
I'm happy
or
to talk
not?
about 2K. We'll do it
Say
later.
that for the end.
Briefly.
if we got
Do you want to
time.
do it at the end? Yeah, let's do
If
it.
we
Yeah.
got time, yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, I think nothing else really to talk about on that one, is there? It was good to see some young pups like Dante DiVincenzo and stuff getting some minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he played pretty well as well when he needed
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
One
So
actually,
he would have matched up with Hero, right?
I think so. He did most of the time. Yeah.
But, yeah.
One more thing. I just have to touch on Middleton. He gets in foul trouble a lot, and that
Yeah.
you can't have your leading scorer getting in foul trouble. I
It's
think
like what
in
we
the
said,
5
it's like what we
games he
said
had.
to Lockie when we used to play Beans before it all got cancelled.
Oh,
If you're getting
Smack him
high
in the
foul
face.
numbers, it just means you're giving it a crack. You're just playing hard.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right. Before we move on, I just want to say Eric Bledsoe's so overrated. No, frustrates me.
it's ridiculous.
He
I
is.
mentioned him as one of the 2K gods when we talk about 2K. Him
Yeah,
and
right.
Levine this
In the
year.
demo. Jesus.
gods.
While we're on the Heat, do we want to go over the question we got asked?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
let's do
good
it.
point. We do have a question. Lockie, do you want
Oh, yeah. True.
Question.
Do you have the question
I'm
up,
like-
Lockie?
No, let's
Question.
pull
I'll
it
give
up
you a
though.
question, mate.
Was it Twitter or Insta or
It was on Facebook. I
Facebook?
got a message in the Facebook page.
We just get so many questions on different.
Yeah, right.
No.
We're just so
So
popular.
Mm.
Get hit from every side. Can't keep track of it.
Mate, except for that one bloke on
Here we go, I've
Insta.
got
We've
it.
got a serial
I've got it up
stalker on our
here.
Instagram.
Yeah, you
Uh,
got it.
Jai
Hey,
Wilson.
He's a fan, not a serial stalker.
Shout out to
we
Jai
got-
Wilson.
Hey,
Thanks
like
for,
and I'll give
thanks
you
for listening
back.
to us. He said, "G'day, Beans. Just a question for the boys. With Miami making it past the Bucks quite convincingly, do you guys believe they are now in championship contention? If Miami does win, does this raise the argument of Eric Spoelstra eventually becoming one of the best coaches of all time? Jai, I
Yes.
think he already is one of the best coaches of all time. Not to be too, not to
He
be
says
too.
with the Miami Heat in the background. He's already one of
Um,
the greatest of all time.
It's really weird. We were talking about this today. I think it was me and Mitch were talking about it
Yeah.
today about how he worked up from such like
Yeah,
Barrel
Brad,
room.
go through because
thing
you were saying that he started as what, like a tape manager or something like that, right?
Yeah, the video analysis or something like that.
There you go, the video analysis dude, and he's worked his way up all the way to head coach, which is bloody impressive. And just you got someone like Pat Riley backing you, you must be doing something right.
Yeah.
So I think
Second-
in your
Eagles' second longest tenured coach in the NBA right now with
Under
Rick
Pop.
Carlisle. Obviously, Pop is the
Yeah, I was gonna
runaway
say
leader,
Pops.
but yeah,
Yeah.
him and Rick Carlisle got hired the same year, and they're both still coaching. Yeah, they're both really good
good on him.
coaches.
And he's been massively consistent with it.
Yeah,
whoever he's had on
absolutely.
because he's made playoffs majority of the years, hasn't he? Is that right?
When you've got LeBron for like the first few years, it does help a bit. But LeBron, Wade, and Bosch is a bit handy. But
Jimmy Bam and the guys now isn't too bad either. He's good. Like he's good at developing. Obviously, like the way Bam's come along.
yeah,
And
How
he's good at
involved
trusting
Harrow
as
gets
well,
in.
right?
yeah,
You
trust
gotta
his
think
players.
like to trust someone like a rookie like Tyler Hero. Obviously, Tyler Hero's got the buckets and he's backing himself as well. But to trust someone to give him the minutes to come out and do that's also a pretty big thing to do.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like when Arturas Karnisovas was general manager of Denver, he turned a team of young pups into like championship contenders. That's kind of what Eric Spoelstra is doing with the Heat now.
Yeah.
yeah, he trusts his players a lot, and I think he's a really good coach, and he's definitely up there. And Miami, they're a contender. They weren't supposed to be contenders at the start of this year. I think ESPN gave them a 1% chance of making the conference finals.
Yeah, they
Had like a 56% chance to make the playoffs, which like they should have made the playoffs. Yeah, they were a pretty decent team. Most people probably thought they were like a 7 or 8 seed, maybe even 6 the most. They were a 5 seed, but they pretty much a 4 seed with the way the seedings were, like one game behind Indiana in the 4 seed. But really, to go this far, a lot of it goes down to Spoelstra, and a lot of it goes down to Jimmy Butler and the way he's led that team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Really stepped up with that. And I've also seen a lot just talking about Bam Adebayo being a great leader.
Yeah,
Which just goes to show that like you don't have to be the leading scorer or anything like that, but you can still be that great leader off the court.
Yeah, and how quickly he's had an impact on the Heat.
Yeah, right.
Like he hasn't even been there that long, but they're all talking about, Bam is all-star quality. Bam is, should be up there in terms of leading this team, kind of like how Jimmy is. It's
Yeah,
really
right.
cool
Yeah.
to see.
there's
How-
one more person that needs to be talked about in terms of Heat leadership. That's Udonis Haslem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been there for 17 years, I think. All-time leading rebounder, and he's never going anywhere else. I think he
Yeah,
was the
he'll
oldest player in the
retire
league for like
before
a
he
month.
This will be his
Yeah.
last
Before-
year, surely. This one.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
He was the oldest player in the league for like a month because Vince Carter retired and then Jamal Crawford got signed. So he was the oldest player for a
Yeah.
bit. But yeah,
he's awesome. Good on him.
yeah.
Is he
good luck,
getting many
Udonis.
minutes?
Nah, I don't. I think he played one game in the bubble and that was a blowout.
You could
I'll
almost
play
call
2
him just an
games.
extra coach.
Yeah, one of them was a
Yeah,
blowout
nice.
and the other was the last game, I think, where like none of the starters played.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
We've talked about Miami for a lot, but yeah.
So did we actually answer that question? If they
do we
get
think?
up
Yeah.
this...
Do we seriously think that they're contenders?
Yeah, they're
I
the
wouldn't
top four
put it
teams.
past them.
I was gonna say they've proved themselves to me in depth wise. It just when you're coming up against like a defensively depth team like the Clippers, it comes down to the experience as well. Like if say you're versing Lakers or Clippers, right? You got playoff Kawhi, you got Paul George, or you got LeBron. Like you just got blokes compared to Jimmy Butler who hasn't had a heap of success in finals. I think that's what'll be the big thing that will get them if they make it past Boston, which they won't. But you know what I mean? Like I think having so many young players might end up being a bit detrimental, just in the fact that the finals is the finals, but it is also in the bubble, so it's completely different again.
Yeah.
So after that really long-winded explanation, yes, I think they are contenders.
And yes, do we think he's a top 5 coach if he brings them all the way this year?
If they win it,
it's hard to say
top 10. I'd lock him in for top 10.
Top 10.
Yeah, it's hard to say top 5
is...
all time.
Because I think
another
another
coaches either.
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing about Eric Spoelstra in sort of what I saw when LeBron went there for the first time is that he had the the experience, not the experience even. He had the smarts to take LeBron straight away.
Yeah, right.
Take LeBron straight away and use him to his fullest ability, and didn't get it done the first year, but then got it done the next two to his fullest ability. That was an Eric Spoelstra.
That's because he's not being coached by Spoelstra.
Yeah, that's fucking Tyronn Lue's fault.
Another thing with that though is also the fact that he had that 3-headed dragon and still reined it all in.
Yeah, he did.
And that's impressive. That's really impressive.
Yeah. Top 10 definitely. I don't know enough about coaches to say top 5 though.
So
don't think he's better than Pop.
Another couple of good coaches.
He's my number 2.
And Jim
behind
Boylan.
Jim Boylan.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Look, he's about to punch you through the screen.
Yeah.
It's been like 3 weeks. Get over it. It's over. It's done. It's over. It's 3 weeks ago.
It's over, Anakin.
I'm still haunted, bro. I'm still haunted.
That'll be for years.
That'll be for years. Should we move on from this series to another series with a couple of good coaches? Boston, Brad Stevens, Toronto, Nick Nurse.
Yeah, wait, can you just... I'm just going to go for like 1 second. I'll be right back.
Halfway through the sentence. Okay.
Oh, he's doing something good for the fucking video.
As soon as we get to Boston, he's gone.
We're literally... Should we just skip... We'll skip Boston. We won't talk about Boston.
And we're done talking about Boston now.
All right, awesome. That was good. Glad we got to talk about Boston. Moving on to Lakers Rockets.
Sorry about that, boys.
Okay,
Sorry about that, boys. No. We're talking about Boston. We're talking about Boston. Sorry. So, yeah, sorry about that.
Do you want us to run through everyone's tips for this series?
Going on. Well,
which was again after 2 games. So Mitch and me both said Boston in 4. Boston were up 2-0 at this point.
It should have been Boston in 4.
That's true.
And then Brad, Lockie, and Chinnick all said Boston in 5. So
we're all wrong.
We're all wrong. We all get the winners right. Half a point for getting the winners right. No one's keeping actual track of these points.
System. We all get half a point.
Yeah.
I hope you're keeping track of all the points, right?
Yeah, it's all up here, mate. I'm winning.
Oh God. Yeah, can we trust that spaghetti brain of yours, Herzl?
Monkey brain.
We'll make a post. We'll make a post after this episode of everyone's points so far, and then we'll keep.
It's gotta be all of us on half a point or a point each, and then Hertz on 13.
Yeah, literally.
Look at him. He knows.
I get 4 points for freaking Miami in 4 games. That's like how it works, yeah?
No clue.
That's not how it works.
Herzl can't count to 4.
Yeah, I can. I got 4 fingers.
That's why you run into problems.
10. I can count to 10. 20 if I use my toes.
Oh,
okay, so Boston series. I think before Boston won 2 games, I think everyone thought that it was going to be quite a long series.
Yeah, I probably would have gone Boston or Raptors in 6 and 7.
I think just talking in the group chat about like the games and stuff before it, I definitely expected a heap from Toronto, and those first 2 games were like the first one wasn't super close. It was like 18 points. The second one was 3. And when that happened, I was like, okay, here we go. And then then Toronto sort of turned it on, and they were all relatively close games. I think the biggest gap between after that was 20. But like all the games that Toronto won were close. So that's why I was really worried in Game 7 today when there was 3 points in it with about 30 seconds left. And,
Yeah.
I was sitting there with Brad in the party, very stressed. But
Yes.
again, I think these are the two best teams in the East that are suited for Heat.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's a pretty fair
All the teams that were left, Boston, Toronto, and Miami, were three very team-oriented teams. Like we were about to say,
Yeah,
but yeah, they were
great
very
coaches as well.
They rely
Yeah.
on their depth and their coaching
Yeah.
and their game plan rather than the single player, which unfortunately was the downfall for Milwaukee. Might be the downfall for Lakers, and it might be it's got to be the downfall for Houston this season, this series.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By the
But-
time this comes out.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we're all we all sort of expected a lot, like the sort of players to step up that they did, like Jason Tatum and stuff like that.
Yeah, Jason Tatum, man, he
I don't know,
balled out that last game.
Oh, dude, he's so good, and he's so good
And
to
he went
watch.
quiet for a bit too, didn't he? It made me a bit worried.
The
He
only
went quiet.
thing for me about him, just watching the past couple of games, especially the close ones, like especially that double overtime game,
It's a good game.
when it gets to clutch time, he just starts forcing up shots a bit and forcing the ball a bit too much. But I like when you've got Fred VanVleet, the 2'3" Drake, guarding out. I definitely think he should go to work, but it just seemed like maybe it's inexperience because he's still young or whatever. It is.
Yeah,
But-
that's what I'm thinking.
He knows he's
Yeah.
got the skill, so he's going to chuck it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think anyone. Hi, Carol. Did anyone expect Jaylen Brown to come out and do what he did?
Yes.
I know Brad
yes.
expected it, but did you think 30 and 16?
Not
Bloody
quite
hell.
30 and 16, but I say this
16.
every time we bring up Jaylen Brown. He's
That's
got
nuts.
something about him that's just absolutely special, and I seriously think he needs to one day get his own team and just drop
You know what
30
it
a
sort of
game.
looks like to me a bit? Well, the vibe of it seems a bit. Like a young MJ and Scottie Pippen style.
Yeah,
Just in the vibe of two
Two
high
kind of wings.
level talent players, but they're both like happy to sort of let the other one step up.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But God, they're good.
They are pretty good. Just on
go.
Kemba, he's a good player, but how does he have 51 minutes and score 5 points?
Arthritis.
Fuck.
Arthritis, dead
Arthritis.
set.
He did get
But
slapped at the end
dude,
of
he was getting
regulation.
thrown around. And do you see that the NBA released a statement, and it annoys me that they did this because they realistically once
They
again,
should just
owners
leave it
shouldn't
alone
do
if they
that,
fuck up.
right? But they released a statement after that game, the double overtime game, saying that there were like 3 or 4 different foul calls in that clutch time stretch that should have been called that weren't. Like,
Yeah.
why
Most
even
on
release
Kemba.
that?
There was
we
a
all
trouble they
watched
didn't
it.
call as well.
It just
Yeah, right.
stops.
I think
the
it's for
faith.
transparency reasons, to be honest. I think they want everyone to know that they're...
Watching it and looking at it and stuff.
Yeah.
You can go. Go.
I guess it's to show that they're like, I don't know. To show that they are noticing things like that, but at the same time, then it sort of comes across like, I think Brad sort of started saying you start losing your faith in the refs a bit when even the association themselves are like, they're not perfect. It's like, well, it's playoffs. It's
And I think-
semi-finals, like they should be. So
I think what you've got to be careful of too is that if you're releasing those statements and Boston ultimately loses, then you've got to go back and go.
Although how can you
Yeah,
expect
fucked up,
real
and then
refs
it's
to be
detrimental.
perfect? You can't expect real
They are
refs to be perfect
humans.
when in 2K, the robot ones that are built to be perfect don't even fucking work. So how do you
No,
expect?
Because you can challenge the call this year, you spud. You press timeout, you can
Call
challenge the
timeout
call.
straight away.
I know,
You do it
I've
last
been
year, but-
doing that a lot.
What do people think of that in the league? The challenge, the call.
It's working good, and the way they've limited it is good. I think the one thing that they need to improve is the quickness of it. Takes too long. You're giving out free
They get
timeouts.
ad revenue from it, though. That's the thing. The NBA is getting ad revenue from
Yeah, true. For a fan, I don't like it as far as that the stoppage is too long to keep it coherent.
But the teams will take the timeout as well. They get a timeout. If they get it right, they get a free timeout, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And the
do
ball.
like that they have that opportunity to challenge it and say, hey, we think this might be wrong, and then sometimes it is, and then sometimes
Yeah.
it's not, and it's
And
like,
a few
okay,
times it's game changing.
our fault.
Sometimes it's
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah.
detrimental to the
Yeah,
score at the
exactly
end.
right.
My,
So it's worth it. Just needs to be more streamlined.
Yeah, my only sort of issue with it, I'm not too fussed about the whole, like, it takes a bit of time and stuff like that. They're going to use it strategically to get extra time.
Yeah.
But, like, either way, they'll do it. Even if it's 15 seconds, they'll use it like that.
Yeah.
The thing that annoys me a bit, and I've talked about it a couple of times on the podcast, like, in terms of, like, flopping or whatever, is that every time a player gets a foul now that they think's half questionable, is they'll run straight over to the coach and start sooking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
You get some though.
right? Like they're pressing the touchpad on the remote and it's not working, and like it's just it just frustrates me. Like I'm just sick of seeing grown men sook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Brook Lopez did it in the Brook Lopez did it in Game 5. He whacked Jimmy Butler in the face. He got the block and then just elbowed him in the
I
face.
saw that.
And he's like,
Yeah,
"It's a clean block."
Mhm.
Like,
yeah.
no, dickhead, you whacked him in the
No.
face. Like,
Yeah, like
it was a clean block until you elbowed him in the fucking noggin. You know?
And it sucks
Yeah.
when you see like big stars doing that. Like, I
Yeah,
love
right.
Jokic, but he's a bit guilty of going up and going, "Hey, come on, hello, excuse me."
Yeah,
Big fat white man,
excuse me, miss.
big fat boy.
Yeah, Luca did it a couple of times, and I was like, I don't
Luca
know.
was
There's
getting
sometimes when I'm like,
smashed. I
fair
would be
enough.
pissed off if I was Luca that
but
one.
it's just
Yeah,
frustrating.
look, sometimes it's fair enough. Other times it's like, I don't know. You're kind of just pushing it now. Like, it
Do you
is a
reckon-
physical game. Like, sometimes it is
But-
just a foul. That's
Yeah,
the game.
exactly. That's the only thing that sort of frustrates me about it. But just going back to the Boston series and stuff, because I think, did everyone say Boston to win it?
Everyone said
Yeah.
Boston.
I think one thing that we should talk about, just brush over real quick, was OG Anunoby's game winner.
I pissed Mitch off with this
Holy-
one.
and with that, the pass from Kyle Lowry
That was
Over
that was
fucking-
insane.
Over
That
Taco
was
for
Really good.
over a 7'5" bloke. That hit him on the tit, and good
Plus
on OG
probably, like-
Anunoby. This is like the thing we're talking about with Tyler Hero. It's just trust,
yeah. He hit big.
which is awesome. Like just
I pissed
trust
Mitch
him,
off with that one as well because I did in the group chat as soon as Tyus got the dunk with 0.5 seconds. It's like of all the fucking people to get a game winner, it's Tyus, and Mitch is like, shut the
Just don't
fuck
call
up.
it a game winner because I saw there was 5 seconds left or whatever, and yeah, it turned out that way. But in the end, we won, so that's all that matters. And I did just want to mention, I'm looking here, Jason Tatum led Boston in all stats, like points, rebounds, assists for the last game,
That's good.
which
He's
is
a good
awesome
bloke.
to see. There's so many young players stepping up in this bubble playoffs.
Yeah,
Someone
legit.
talk about
Somebody called it. Somebody maybe nicknamed LaFlop James right now.
Yeah,
Did mention
did
it's
say
a young
it.
team's year.
It's a young team's year. Yep.
But yeah, I think we're all pretty happy with that. Pascal Siakam, honestly, to me, he's just feeling a little bit overrated at the moment. Just
Yeah.
watching that series, I just think that like he's just got that one spin move every single time. But it's also like just what do you call it? Sorry, my brain's frozen. Like obviously people hyped him up and he got most improved, which good on him. He definitely deserved the most improved. But people talking about him like he's a star and stuff like that. I don't think he's someone that you can come out and trust you to get 20 points a night. Wouldn't even trust him to get 15 a night. You look in the game today, in a deciding game, he had 13. He had 11 rebounds to his credit, but like 13 points. If you're a star in a team, I feel like you need to be getting at least 15 a night.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
how I feel personally, and especially the hype that he gets. I know he's one of those like underrated. It doesn't get the hype, but like people hype him up, if that makes sense.
There's a reason for that.
Exactly. That's why people. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, he doesn't get the hype, but that's them hyping him up.
Then
That's why Herzl doesn't get the hype either. So
you know who
Makes
does
sense.
deserve the hype though, and it's Kyle Lowry. I can't say much more about him. He's just good.
He's just
He
good.
does-
Oh, Kyle Lowry, man, he's a really like smart shooter. Kyle Lowry.
He's just a
He
smart
is.
basketball player.
He's
Even like,
that.
with his flops and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's so
was he a
well.
player to watch last week or not? He definitely was Lockie's at some stage.
I know who
Um,
mine was.
I don't
I
think
can't remember who mine was
it
last
wasn't
week.
mine.
I don't think it was.
But
anyone's.
anyway, I
Yeah.
think he's just so good, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah, really good.
like I think he's underrated. Like he's the most underrated All Star.
He's probably
in
one of
the
the
league at
best
the moment.
second options in the NBA.
Yeah,
That's not a bad call.
yeah. I'll give you
Marcus,
And that's
Marcus
including AD. I
Smart's
think he's a
blocked
more
today
consistent. He's a more consistent and a better second option than AD because he'll actually do it every night.
So
Whereas AD will have
when you're
one
like
game
the-
where he
on
lets,
and off.
where he
Yeah,
lets a
the
6'5" bloke get 12 boards over him.
The only question with that though is Kyle Lowry actually a second option? Because I think the thing and the good thing about Toronto's team is that they switch around that first option a lot. Because like Fred VanVleet, he's consistent. But if he's having an off night, Kyle Lowry will step up. Pascal Siakam can step up. Like I think they're really good at knowing who's got that hot hand for the night.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
I kind of
generally-
noticed that just watching these games.
Yeah,
because I don't really
right?
know the Raptors that well, but I watched them and sort of realized that they don't really have like that one
Even like
player.
you
They kind of
look at,
switch it around.
You look at like they had how many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They had 6 players get double-digit points, which is low for them. And like even when Serge Ibaka stepping up off the bench, they're not afraid to give a bloke off the bench the ball. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and let him go and get his buckets. But yeah, I think it's just the thing. That
I mean, it led them to
sort of-
going home, so it can't be that good. But
I was
like,
gonna say, I think
still
the big thing.
impressive.
I think the thing that got him in the end was like it was two teams with depth, but but our depth was just better. If that makes sense.
Boston's just
Head
got
to
a
head,
higher
every player.
top
It's
end. I think that's the thing.
noticeably better. Yeah.
Like
Like-
so you got Pascal Siakam and you got Jason Tatum, right? You got
Like if you list
Jaylen
all their
Brown,
players, they're
you
all
got
very
Fred
even.
VanVleet. You know what I mean? It's just that we're just I feel like at each position we're just that little bit better.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
they'd have one position that would outdo us aside from maybe centre. But even Marc Gasol hasn't been doing
Marc
much.
Gasol's been too slow.
Bubble, right? He just looks
Yeah.
old. But
He does.
actually, that reminds me. Did you guys watch? I think it was the last game, game 6, sorry, where they ran small ball with OG at the 5.
I was.
It was nice.
It worked really well.
It was
And
really
when you've
well.
got a man like Tice, the lumbering idiot.
You know what? Mitch just hates Boston centers. That's what it is. Kelly Olynyk used to be a Boston player. Mitch hates him. Boston center.
No, I love
Tight,
Robert Williams
Boston
III,
center.
the Time Lord. I just
fucking
hate.
Time Lord.
You know what I hate?
How
I
many
hate
times
idiot
this week have I
turtle.
heard Mitch say Time Lord?
Idiot.
And you're going to hear it a whole lot more when he's dunking his nuts in Bam Adebayo's face.
Oh!
But in saying that, I mean, this last game, Tice had a pretty quiet 1-5-5, but the game before he had 18 and 7.
What?
He has stepped up a couple of games.
I think
So
one
2
game
weeks
he had like
ago.
15 boards as well. I don't know what game it was. Maybe game
That might have
one.
been the first one.
15 boards, bro. Herzl, we will never touch that number.
We
No.
15
one board,
boards.
mate.
15 turnovers? I could do that. Give me the ball 15
Um,
times. I'll turn it over 15
turnovers.
times.
Before we move on, and I know we've
Backcourt
spoken about this
violation.
series for quite a while, really quick. Just on that thing about trusting your young pups. Semi Ojolai, really good young pup from Boston. But then, I don't know why Brad Stevens did it. He put Grant Williams on with like 4 minutes left or 3 minutes left to when there was 5 points in it. And I said this
Yeah.
to Brad. I said I wouldn't have him out there because he's played 3 minutes before that and just wasn't in the flow of a game. And it was a fast-paced game. And he came out. All he did was get 2 boards, missed 2 free throws, and go back.
Oh,
to the bench.
It was
God.
very
It was
odd.
pretty
He turns it
unfortunate.
over a lot on the start
Um,
of his dribble. He'll travel the start of
Right.
his dribble all the time. And it's so
Forces it.
frustrating.
That was when I got a
Um,
bit stressed when he was at the free throw line. I was like, "Who's this guy?" I was like,
Strange-
I'm a
strange
little
lead.
worried.
And I
Strange
think
lead.
Yeah.
I think two things
Yeah.
that was really noticeable at the end of the game too is one was Fred VanVleet's terrible last shot with lots of time on the clock. He just dribbled it between his
Yeah,
legs
yeah.
like twice and then just pinged it up in
What?
3.
Yeah,
It was nuts.
forced it up
And
a bit
then-
'cause they didn't
and
have
then
Kyle Lowry out
The
there.
other noticeable thing is Kyle Lowry fouled out, so you've got some IQ points, had to leave the game.
Yeah.
But he was visibly pissed off at that shot too, which is just
Yeah.
shows how much he cares and how much of a champion he
Mm.
is, because that would have been...
Exactly. Yeah.
I think it could have gone to OT if Kyle Lowry was genuinely out there.
Definitely.
Might not have, but I think there was a
Yeah.
bigger chance of it going to OT.
100%.
yeah,
It's
him
even
too.
just because I think he's more dangerous with his orders. Like
He's
whether
a
it's
better
passing
shooter.
the ball or scoring. Yeah.
Even just
Um,
getting someone else open, he would have been better at.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I
Yeah, I
always
don't
say.
know. That shot was interesting.
It was very interesting.
Raptors, Factors, Naptors, Boston in 4.
Perfect. Wow. All right.
Wow, that is what everyone says. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Lakers, Rockets.
Lakers, Rockets. Who wants to?
This
I think
one's
Brad, you should
still
discuss
going.
this one.
So
Do you want me to
This
just run
one's
through
still-
what everyone's tips were first?
Yeah, go.
I
Yeah,
think
go.
I don't think the games had started yet. With this one, no, they couldn't.
No,
have. So I
that's
said
the
Lakers
last
in
one that
4.
started.
Brad and I said
Yeah,
Lakers in
no.
4, and we definitely wouldn't have said that if the first game had already happened.
Oh.
yeah.
So yeah, Brad and I said Lakers in 4. Mitch and Lockie said Lakers in 5, and Chinnick said Lakers in 6. So
Looks like Lockie's
smart money's on
By the
Lockie and
time this
Mitch going
comes
for
out,
5.
we'll know
Yes.
if
I think,
anyone's right or wrong. So
Yeah,
is anyone
When-
surprised?
James
Not
Harden
really.
shot
No,
18% in the last game. What the?
It's one of
What
those
the
things that I've
18?
been just
That's
sort
a
of.
Beans move. That is
It's a
a
Beans
grade
move.
A Beans move there.
Yeah, grade A, not E. E grade.
Grade
It's
E.
like-
That is a grade E Beans move.
James Harden has had a couple of games like that. Not even a couple. He's had a few games like that.
He does
this
that
season.
though. He does.
He can
Yeah.
flop hard.
But he only shot 11 shots as well. So like when James Harden shoots 18%, he's
Shit,
putting
did he
up
only shoot
27
11?
shots. He took 11 shots. Westbrook took the most shots for the team.
That's such a bad
Westbrook
move getting
is-
rid of Chris Paul.
Yeah, right. Westbrook has been woeful.
He's getting exposed. He should have never won that MVP. He should.
This
You've
game
He
just-
turns
is
it over so much. He actually turns it over a ridiculous amount, and it hurts my brain.
And this just proves
James
how
Harden,
good of a bloke Adams is to just fucking let him
Up
get all
with it.
these rebounds and look really good. Like,
I
Harden
think, yeah,
shot
right.
in that game. He shot 2 from 11, scored 21 points, including 16 free throws. He had 5 points from field goals and 16
Whoa.
free
nuts,
throws.
man.
He's so good at drawing a foul though, and a lot of his fouls are
does.
legitimate. Like they're not
Yeah,
like
he sort of hooks
He
the
does
arm
flop
on
a
that.
bit.
Yeah, he does the arm
Yeah.
hook.
He's so good at creating contact like that.
PJ
Okay.
Tucker. Finally, AD did what he's fucking supposed to against a 6'5" bloke. He held PJ Tucker to 0 points and 3 boards, and he got 29 and 12 in the last game. What a joke! How does he?
That's good.
How has that not been happening all
Anthony
series?
Davis has been very disappointing. I mean,
Overall,
like,
general.
yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's
overall.
tough to say that a bloke's been disappointing when he's giving you like what the lowest he scored is 25, I think, 26.
Yeah.
But for him,
But
like
when,
that-
when you're going up against a bloke, like your matchup is legitimately 6 inches shorter than you or something like that, you should be doing a little bit more.
and when you're
Yeah.
the second option behind LeBron,
Yeah, I don't think his points has been disappointing, but he could well and truly
Just
be
in
getting 20
general.
and 20.
yeah, just in general. I-
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but LeBron, who's been playoff LeBron, like when after they lost that first game, he stepped it up.
Oh yeah.
Only scored
same as
16
the
points in the
first
last
series
game,
again.
but you know,
Yeah, but
only,
yeah, 15,
only 16 with 15
only
boards.
16, 15 boards and
15
1 assist. He did his
3
thing.
steals. He had 3 steals. That's why he
Nothing
got him out
grinds
there,
my
though.
gears more than when the Lakers win a game any times this playoff and it's AD leads the Lakers to the next round. No,
No, it was
LeBron. LeBron
No,
led him.
Can I bring up Rajon Rondo?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
good
good
man.
is it to see Rajon
11,
Rondo
10, and
balling
8 in the
up?
last game.
And then the game before he had a double-double as well, right?
Yeah, I think he had a near
21,
triple double.
21, 2 and 9.
Oh, yeah, no,
Um,
near triple
but
double.
he's been massive for him. Like,
Yeah.
he's consistent. He's just so smart. Like he shot 62% and 72%. Like he takes smart shots. He knows when to pass the ball. Obviously,
My
one of
favorite
the
point guard.
arguably greatest point guards of all time. Right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
top.
He's not. He'd be
15?
top 10, top 15.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
top 15.
Yeah.
It's so good seeing him back out there.
He,
He's on
let me
Boston's all-time
rephrase
team,
it,
you can say
actually.
that
He's probably
much.
one of the best point guards of our generation.
Yeah. I'm just
Right.
thinking a lot of point
I
guards.
was going to say, yeah, all of a sudden I actually thought about what I said.
I genuinely have him over Westbrook.
Oh, 100%.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so
The
good
stat
to see him.
weebs are going to come after me. Stat weebs, fuck off.
But I think, do we think that's a much needed little boost off the bench that the Lakers have been missing?
100%.
Without Avery Bradley, he is a very,
Yeah.
very good option. And someone that you kind of
And
need to just anchor
he's
that
just-
bench.
Bro, he's just one of those players that makes people better, right?
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
like when you
Defensively and
you want him
offensively.
out there.
Really
Um,
poor defensive stats during the regular season, though. So hopefully
Really?
that doesn't. Yeah, really. Like he had like one of the worst plus minuses in the league
Yeah,
in
he,
regular season.
well, he had
But-
-4 in this last game as well, even though he had a decent game.
So yeah, I don't think he's like super positive to have on the floor all the time, but you'd prefer to have him over Quinn Cook.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
When you need him, you need him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
You trust him on the floor.
Yeah.
opposed to-
and with
yeah.
his veteran presence too, playing against two just fucking dumb offensive players in Westbrook and Harden, may as well just let him shoot themselves in the foot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think a big thing for him as well, even though he's not the best defensively one-on-one, you watch the games and he's talking constantly.
He's
Like
so
his
good.
voice
He
is
does
just
talk a lot.
his biggest thing, and that's another thing with like why Chris Paul's so good at an older age. Like when you've got that IQ,
Yeah.
but you can also verbalize it and spread it. It just makes you better and makes the team better. Do we see Rockets winning any more games?
Nah, I think this is it. Put a fork in him. They're done.
I think that's it. It's at this point of recording. There's only one more.
Yeah.
And Lakers are up 3-1.
And it's so frustrating. So frustrating too to know that this should really be AD's 35 and 15. He should be averaging.
And it should
So
also be
Rockets are
OKC
lucky
up
they
there
haven't put it
against
away.
them.
What was that, sorry?
If there's a
Should
time
also
to
be
do it.
OKC against him.
Yeah,
Um,
they will be
but-
no doubt.
So today,
Got him.
James Harden shooting 2 from 11. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I don't know if anyone else did. Do we think that's fatigue?
Yeah,
I'd say
100%.
so.
Yeah, I think Dan Tony's shit coach. That's what it
He's
is.
going.
He's got to
Thank
be
you.
gone,
I'm so
right?
glad.
Well, here's a
go.
hot tip. Here's a hot kind of just thought of a good theory. Harden is trying to get Dan Tony fired.
Oh,
Ooh.
wouldn't fucking surprise me because he's been
You reckon?
woeful.
He probably isn't.
I like
but
it.
He
Maybe
probably
not,
isn't,
but
but
I
I hope
like
he
it.
is.
Yeah, he would have been fired a week ago if James Harden didn't block.
Mhm.
Yeah, Dort. He would have been
Yeah.
fired a week ago.
Yeah.
Should we bring up because it's kind of in correlation to this series because OKC lost to him. Donovan, not fired but released from Billy Donovan. Released from
Yeah, mutually
Donovan-
parted ways.
Yeah,
Billy
Donovan,
Donovan.
yeah.
Um,
So the OKC coach has left the building. But yeah, I think it came down to it was mutual. You said, Brad, right? Both of them. sort of
Yeah,
agreed
yeah.
to
So
do
it just sounded like he really was brought in to elevate Harden, Westbrook, and KD. He did his job there, got them to the I don't think he got them to the finals, but he kept him in contention the whole
Yeah.
time. I think it was Scotty Brooks who got them to the finals.
Yeah, I think it was
but,
Scotty Brooks.
but,
yeah.
but after that, he was brought in, held him at a really high standard for a long time, even after KD and Harden parted
Yeah.
ways. Also, he did his job. Ultimately, they would have loved a championship.
Yeah, right.
He's developed some really good players. You see lots of parallels between Jakeem Noah and who he coached and Steven Adams now. So he's done a really good job of developing people. There's just nothing there. He's a winning coach. At the end of the day, he'll go to a contender. He's really good.
If he stays in the NBA.
If he stays in
You were
NBA.
saying- you were saying you reckon, Brad, he's going to go back to Florida.
He might go back to Florida. It wouldn't surprise me. The coach has been there for a little bit now, not to huge success. So it wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me if they've, shown some mutual interest already. But
Yes.
if any of the teams looking for a coach, Billy
I
Donovan's
was
your
going
man.
to say you wouldn't mind him there. I think a big thing
Yeah.
as well with him that I'm pretty happy about is that he hasn't sort of caught the blame for the lack of success with, like they've had a couple of times where they've had those stars, like when Paul George and Melo came to the team and stuff like that. He didn't cop the blame for those times because he took them pretty far. You know what I mean? Like because
Every
Paul
time.
George and stuff, they got kicked out by that Dame buzzer beater, right? One of the best buzzer beaters that
Yeah.
I've ever witnessed.
Yeah.
Um,
He overachieved every year. He
yeah, right.
overachieved every year, so you can't really be mad at him.
And he seems
Um,
like a good bloke.
Maybe that's a sign of what OKC are thinking. Maybe they're actually going to blow everything up this year.
I wouldn't be surprised. I reckon they're shipping off Chris Paul
Yeah, Chris Paul will be gone.
to Milwaukee,
Which is-
if anywhere.
You reckon? I think Chris Paul's way too ball heavy for Giannis.
Yeah, I don't think he's.
I think
I
that's
was
what they
thinking
need.
about
You
it.
need to get the ball out of Giannis's hands as much as possible.
Yeah. And I think that would change the whole dynamic of Milwaukee to an actual team. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Like the ball starts getting moved, you start running plays for people instead of just Giannis put your head down, go through people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Shaq didn't bring
I
the ball
mean,
up the
I think
court.
Chris Paul will
That's-
work well with anyone, especially with a unit like Giannis. One of
It's a good way to
again,
think about
another
it.
one
Is
of our
Shaq didn't bring the
generational
ball up the
guards.
court. That's
Yeah, right.
a good way to think about it.
As opposed to Bledsoe or defense.
Fuck off,
Two
Aaron
games.
Bledsoe, you suck dick.
I know what's the point? It's only Nick.
Just have like an all Mitch hates team in the NBA.
Pun?
Have like an all team, like an all NBA team that just Mitch hates. Starting five would
The
be
Mitch hates
Olenek.
starting
With
5.
5 Kelly Olynyk, and then the bench will be Bledsoe.
Thighs would
Twice.
be
I
there.
don't hate Bledsoe. I never said I hate Bledsoe. I just thought he's overrated.
Urgh.
Mitch is overrated starting 5.
Yeah. But
Siakam.
is anyone going to change their predictions? I think Lockie and I were on the cake with our first prediction.
I'm changing
5
mine from
games.
Lakers in 4 to Lakers in 5.
Before we move on from Rockets, I just got to say another thing that's like causing the Rockets to just fall behind massively in this series is they're not getting nearly enough boards as they should be. The last 2 games, they haven't had more than 10 boards. Like no players had more than 10 boards.
If only they had a really good defensive center on the bench doing nothing.
Dude,
Dyson
that
Chandler.
annoys me. How is he not getting a minute, like a single
I
minute?
kind of thought he wasn't there. I was like, maybe he's just not in the bubble.
on
But
the
then I
bench
just
at
I
every
see him
game.
every
He's
time.
just
I'm like,
there.
oh fuck, he should be
He's
on.
there.
Put
Wait
him on
to
the
go on. He's
court.
ready, just in
What-
case.
Do we have any theories as to why? Or is D'Antoni just
He's
Yeah,
old.
is
I
that
think he's
all
just old. And
He's
it ruins his
old,
game
but-
plan.
Small ball. Small man ball.
That explains
Like-
it.
I think they're
Small
just
man.
keeping him there, and they're going to ship him off at the end of the year to clear up cap space for an up-and-coming centre, Connor Herzl.
Oh, yep.
A dynamic
Small ball
centre
could work.
that runs the small ball game system
Does
really
layups
well.
like
and
this.
Does the game plan of getting 0 boards and 4 turnovers? That's the game
I'm
plan.
keen.
Definitely.
Herzl,
Fit in real
I'm
well
keen
with
to see
Westbrook.
you. I'm keen to see you just get slashed by the other team and just floored instantly again. Do you remember when that
If
happened?
LeBron's coming at me, I am getting the fuck out the way. I'm not.
I'll tell you what though, you'd still probably put 20 on Pat Bev's head.
No, bro. He's
Speaking
on
of-
defense.
But yeah, so I think we'll see Lakers making it. through
Lakers
that
in 5.
series, right?
Chinik, are you going to change your answer from Lakers in 6 to Lakers
You're
in
not
5?
allowed to
Or are you gonna
change.
keep
You've been pranked.
I feel like I already over predicted, so I'm gonna say 6 still. I'm
it?
keep
Yeah.
I just want to say one thing though. I did say if the Rockets are going to sneak a game, Harden's going to shoot 60%, and that's what he did. He shot 60%, and the Rockets stole a game.
Okay, but did you say Lakers in 5?
Don't think you did, mate.
Tough.
I wish I could punch you
Pretty
right
sure
now. The worst part about coronavirus is I
Pretty sure
can't
you
punch you in the
didn't say
face right now, dingus.
Dingus.
Go on. Speaking of Pat Bev, Nuggets Clippers.
No.
This has been fun.
Yeah, this was a good one.
yeah.
I'll just
Ivan?
run through the games quickly with the predictions.
Yeah.
Mitch, Chinnick, and myself all said not Lakers. Clippers in 6. Brad said Clippers in 5, and Lockie said Nuggets in 6.
I was close.
Well, Brad and Lockie
You're out.
are out of contention, but they could still get
They
the
cannot
tip
win.
right.
Get half the point.
But
Point.
if Clippers win their next game, then the rest of us get it right.
Can we
It's
talk
alright,
about-
guys. It's at 3 a.m. on Sunday. It's nice and easy
What?
for us
Can
to
we, talk about,
watch.
can we talk about how the Nuggets love being down 3-1?
Yeah, apparently.
I've mentioned it a couple of
Yeah.
times, but why is it at 3 a.m. for us? What
I don't
what a
know.
shocking
There's
time slot
one
for it.
game. One game in a day, and you put it at, like, what time is that for America? It's like fucking
12
1
p.m. I think.
p.m.
Like,
or something.
is it a weekend?
That's like 1 p.m.
That's
Yeah,
not a bad time
like-
for a basketball game.
Yeah, but why wouldn't
It's
you
like-
just put it at night? What? Like,
If it's a weekend, I get it. Yeah, it's a Saturday
It'd
afternoon.
be a Saturday,
That-
but
Saturday
still,
afternoon
fuck.
makes sense. Like no one's gonna be out. Well, maybe not.
Why
now,
don't you
but
put it a good time for us? Okay.
Yes,
Put
they should think about
Americans,
us.
Put it on for Australians. That's what I say.
Yes.
Probably won't be on fucking KO, will it? So
No, I think it'll
Here's
be
how
mad.
it goes, right? The Nuggets fall to 3-1. Then Jamal Murray's like, fuck, I've got to turn it on. And then he turns it on.
Jamal Murray is the
And
Terminator.
Lucky gets jiggly for him, and that's it.
I'm
That's
jiggling
the
for Jamal.
Jamal, is that what you said? Sorry, they get down 3-1 and Jamal turns it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. So good, isn't he? He's so
He
good.
is.
He's really showing up this series.
Do we
Has
actually
anyone
think that
had a chance to see the games?
Yeah, I've been watching him.
watching a
So
bit of it?
what
Yesterday's,
changed?
but that was it.
What changed? What made him start?
I-
What,
I don't know.
in
I
the
guess
games
it's
they
just.
won, what did they do?
I reckon primarily it's fatigue and Jamal Murray that caused them to go down 3-1 in this series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And playoff Kawhi and Paul George, obviously, but
They take some energy out of you.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
And then even though Jokic has been playing pretty consistently, the team's still pretty young, so they don't really have that level of it's the playoff time to get into it sort of thing yet.
Yeah.
I think the last 3 of the Nuggets playoff series have gone to 7 games. They
crazy.
beat Dallas in 7 in the first round last year, and then lost to Portland in 7 in the second round last year.
And it's
And
like,
they
even though
obviously-
it's the Clippers, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes to Game 7 again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's.
Could happen.
I
Yeah.
can't see them beating them in 7, like in the Game 7. I just think they'll be too tired. They
Yeah,
came
yeah.
off gut
Jamal
wrenching.
Murray will be fucking exhausted if they gets to
Yeah.
Game 7.
If
The
you
thing
leave
is,
it,
just looking at the box scores, Nuggets have a lot more, I guess depth, but like they're just there's more of them doing the work, whereas Clippers, it feels like, at least in the last game when they lost, it looks like it was mostly PG and Kawhi doing all the work, and like Pat Bev had 10 points, but like he only had 1 board and 1 assist. Like that's
Yeah.
not helping the team as much as, say, like the Nuggets, you've got
Yeah.
5 players over double digits. Like that's pretty decent, and I think
and
when
I
you've
think-
got that kind of spread, it's good.
Yeah, and just when you look at the squad and you think in terms of who should come out and give you minimum 10 points, you think Lou will, and you'd think Montrezl Harrell would at least give you 8.
Yeah.
And they had pretty quiet games, so I think
Yeah,
you're pretty
And
on
then
the
you
money
had-
there. Where
but then you got like Monte Morris, and he's on for 17 minutes and gets 12 points. So
yeah,
like, you know, like it's not much,
I'd
but
like
it's
to-
something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd like to bring up my player to watch, which was Gary Harris,
yeah,
who they've played really well when he's on the floor. He's just an extra
Yeah.
ball facilitator, but he's mainly there for defensive reasons, and to make
Yeah.
Patrick Beverley run for 23 minutes.
I was gonna
And
say he's also just like a threat. Like you can't
Landry-
leave him open.
Yeah.
you can't leave him open. You've got to guard him when he drives in as well. So he's just doing all the little things that you'd expect from a Marcus Smart or a like a Patrick Beverley or
Marcus
someone
Smart's
like
a great
that, so-
comparison for that.
yeah. So he's kind of their version of that. Definitely not
Not at that
as
level
polished in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But I really like him as one of the glue pieces, and he's in the losing games. He usually has like the one of the better plus minuses as well. But he's once again, I'm going to say he's probably going to be one of the X factors if Denver does go any further than what they have already. I think he'll be one of the ones to watch. And I've noticed
Yeah.
the longer Clippers are staying in the series, the shorter the people playing are getting in a list of people playing. So
Yeah.
you've got a lot of people on like 1 minute, 2 minutes. It's going to be heavily reliant on Kawhi and
Yeah.
Paul George
did
again.
you
The
see
later it goes.
Michael Porter Jr.'s comments in the media?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. What do you say? We need to get more players involved or something like that?
I think
He's
the
implying
big-
he needs the ball much
yeah.
more. Yeah.
I think the big thing with that, I don't think that's a bad thing to say. I just think don't say it to the media though. You say
Yeah,
it in a team meeting or something.
Yep.
Yeah, don't publicize it.
And don't say
Yeah.
it and shoot like 1 from 4 the next game.
Yeah.
Big clutch 3 though.
I think. Do we think that? Sorry, I read Den and my brain went defensively. Do we think that Denver have more
Defensively
depth
Nuggets.
offensively and Clippers have more depth defensively? If that makes sense. So
Yes.
Denver has people that'll come out like Michael Porter Jr. who can come out and give you 20. Monte Morris, who's a pretty good offensive bloke, but they're two players that really aren't all that good on the defensive end. But then you
Yeah.
go to the other team, aside from Luke Will, like Jermichael Green, I really like him defensively, quite smart. Montrezl Harrell's got bounce and really good like IQ at what to jump at and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, Lou Will's not the best. Landry Shamit's not the best defense, but
Yeah.
even Reggie Jackson, he only played a minute 40 in the second last game, and
'Cause
didn't
it's
play in
like-
the last game. But
You think the Nuggets stars, you don't really think defense at all. When you
yeah,
look
right.
at Jamal Murray, Jokic, they're not known for their defense.
No.
I really hope Denver take him to 7 and maybe even win it. I don't know if they will, but
I don't think
That'd be a
Yeah.
really good
I don't-
story. A really good story.
I reckon it'd be Clippers winning now, but I'm praying.
yeah,
Fingers
The
crossed.
Nuggets would be a really good underdog story. And Paul Millsap like this game too.
Yeah.
His
love
third
Millsap.
quarter was phenomenal.
just
And that's
experience, right?
a vintage thing, when he played for Atlanta and,
He was pretty elite, wasn't he, back in his day?
he was very elite.
Yeah,
You want him on your team. He's an old man. He's kind of,
he'll
you
be so
compare him
good for
to-
Jokic, won't he?
he's just a bit
he's
of a
so good.
And-
contractual liability, I think, for the contenders, for other contenders.
Yeah.
Obviously,
You could
Denver
drop
is a
him and-
contender. They're one of the top teams in the
Yeah.
West.
Is he getting paid a packet, is he?
I think he's still on about 24 mil. I don't think I think his contract, he signed it like right at the right time.
Yeah, just before he dropped off. I think he'll be a
Yeah.
really good developmental person for MPJ, Michael Porter Jr., and even Ball as well, because he's quite a smart defensive player. Like he's got quite a high defensive
Yeah, because
IQ.
he's undersized, and especially when he was at his prime, they're your sort of era of Dwight Howard and Al Horford dominating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
yeah,
think that
yeah,
Al
yeah,
Horford
Ming
once
even-
dominated the league, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just need to go back to the contract of Paul Millsap. He's not on 24. He's on
That's
30
okay.
million. He's on 30 flat.
So,
But he's an
30
unrestricted free
flat.
agent
I'd
at the end
love
of this
30
year.
flat.
He signed a
That'd be
3-year,
insane.
90 million.
yeah, I think if Denver are going to win, Jamal Murray has to drop over 30.
Yeah.
And on saying that, I think
Yeah.
it'd be really good if he dropped over 30 because just invested in. Oh, it's not Jamal Murray
Yeah, it's not coming
trading.
through.
Jamal Murray trading card.
Put your hand behind it. It might
Nope.
make it.
Oh.
Turn your
money
green
behind
screen off for a second.
Really quick. Look into trading cards because they're really good investment at the moment. People reckon they're going to be the next shoes in terms of resale. Just
I
for instance,
started looking into it today, but I'm going to need help.
Yeah, so I bought
I
that
started
card.
looking into it.
I bought that card for 25, and it's now worth like 50 to 60. And if he keeps balling out like he is, it'll only go up. I also bought a Donovan Mitchell card for 30, and it's now 70, 80. I just bought a Bam Adebayo card. Look at the rookie cards for players that are up and coming and sort of stars and stuff. But yeah, that's just
Hold
my
on to
little
them for a
tidbit
bit.
for everyone.
Hold
But
on to
I
that damn
definitely-
card. That'll be worth
No,
millions.
mate, if they
Gonna go
if they-
find a Tyler Harrow card.
No, they're mate. I tell you,
Seriously.
the ones to get onto. But I won't talk about it too much because it's not really a podcast fun thing. But buy rookie cards. Tyler Hero's a great one. Yeah. Anyway, can we talk about Paul George before we move on?
Yeah.
Because he had a
Pandemic
couple of
P.
good, right? He had a couple of good games, and we were like, oh yeah, pandemic P's back to playoff P, and then I think he's just not consistent. Do we think he's just getting back in his groove, or what is it?
I
He's
have
just
this.
like one of those bad luck players to have on your playoff team. You just
Yeah.
don't want him.
Right? Hasn't he had
But-
like 4 playoff buzzer beaters hit on him or something like that?
Something ridiculous. Something
Jeez.
ridiculous. But it's just lucky they've got a player like Kawhi to negate that.
Yeah.
Dude, he drops 30 points in the most quiet way I've ever seen any player drop 30
He
points.
does. It's funny.
Drops
eh?
30
It's-
points. Awesome on defense. It's like,
Right? Should he have been top 3 MVP talks? Do we
I
think
don't
he was
think he. I
like
think just in
In
the
his
regular
OKC
season. he
year,
yeah, maybe not this season, like the regular season.
Yeah.
not
He
this
wasn't.
season, not at all.
yeah, because I didn't get a chance to watch many of the Clippers games or anything before it. But just
I
watching
think he was
him
a
in
top 3
bubble
MVP
and stuff.
his last year for Oklahoma.
I
Or
thought
maybe
you were talking about Kawhi.
Spurs, you mean?
Oh, Kawhi, sorry.
Yeah.
Old man,
do you-
see you later.
Yeah.
He went
Oh,
at 27,
man.
7, and 5. Kawhi this season.
Yeah.
So they are good numbers.
He's
But
like top
And I
6 though,
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think he
he's up
should
there.
always be in the talks for Depoy as well. I think he's really unfair to get that. Did we see the block with one finger?
Yes.
Yeah.
It like
Jesus.
grew. It grew like I've got
Right.
little girl hands. How
That
crazy
shit
is
looked
that?
insane. Oh my god, Brad, you do have really short fingers. What the fuck?
I got big old hands.
My
I
fingers.
look like Jason Tatum on LeBron.
Bony as shit. Yeah, fuck all the audio listeners. Nice hands.
All right. New segment. Hands. Here we go.
Hands.
Who's got them?
Right,
Who's got them?
big
I've got two.
hands?
I've got two
Mine's
little
pretty
ones.
big. It takes up the whole screen.
Hurtle's got 10 fingers. You already heard
10
about
fingers
it.
and 11 toes.
Okay, for the people that are watching the video, and you'll have to go look at the YouTube channel just so you can see what we're actually talking about now, not our hands, but you'll see here the Kawhi one finger block.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That got to hurt a little bit.
Jamal Murray came in with pace, took off to end his career, and
Insane.
that's happened. He
Just
and,
a big.
and when I saw it, I thought, no, like he's got his hands on it first. Like, you know, you can see in that side, this one here, you go, oh no, he got his whole hand to it. But you watch the actual clip and stuff, when they show it in slow motion, it doesn't hit any of his other fingers. It is literally just the tip of that one finger, and he stopped him. It was insane. It's one
Scary
of the
shit.
best. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Robot. He's a robot. Legitimately.
Yeah, that's
But
fucked.
good on Rodney Magruder. Coming out 2 points, one from 2, 4 minutes.
Good on him.
Good on him.
I
Came in
think
and did
something we called last week, which was definitely came into effect, is that Jokic is definitely taking advantage of Zubac, who has to play
Yeah.
over 30 minutes, has to play 30 minutes a game to try to stop the bastard, and he's just too clever. Too
Yeah.
good.
And,
Makes
yeah.
Zubac. He should be like third string bencher. He's woeful.
And I
He
think
gets
one
like
of
a
the
block
things
every now and then. But
with Jokic is that he forces him out of the key,
yeah,
which is where Zubac actually, like, it's what makes Zubac look good is when he's able
He's
to
in the
sit in the key and just
Yeah.
and it's kind of criminal that Landry Shamet only plays 13 minutes and Lou only plays 19 and Jamarcus Green plays 13 and Patrick Beverley almost gets half an hour.
Fuck off.
How
Fuck
gross
off.
is that? Why
Pat
are we
Bev deserves
losing?
his half an hour. Pat Bev deserves an hour on the
Speaking
court.
of
He
Pat
comes on
Bev,
the bench just to.
Pat Bev should be on for the entire
I was
48
gonna say,
minutes.
Pat Bev deserves the whole game and then a halftime show and a post game show.
Oh,
all for
God.
himself.
Can we talk about
He'd
Pat
love
Bev's banter and beef with Jokic?
Jokic
Yeah,
would sit
go on.
on him. Jokic would actually sit on him.
Jokic should sit on him.
It's the
He's gonna-
babysitter.
Jokic only fans sitting
Oh.
on Pat Bev.
Gross.
Sits on dog.
Sit on him.
No, but in the couple of games I watched, every time Pat Bev got switched onto him, he just fouled him. Like he legitimately hugged him, and you could tell he was scared. And it's just, I don't know.
And then Pat Bev goes and has a fucking go at Jokic for getting fouls. And it's like, what?
And he goes, and what it was, he said that they had 11 free throws to Clippers, fucking, it was 26 or something.
26.
I love when Pat Bev does something stupid like fouls someone, gets a flagrant or this stupid foul where he grabs someone's neck and then he goes.
Yeah, right?
It's like, fuck off.
Yeah, he's an
Oh.
idiot.
Shut up,
God.
idiot.
Oh,
Why don't we use this to transition into the next part?
yeah, let's do
Or
it.
do we all
My
think
finals MVP is Pat Bev, so I want to talk about him.
You're
about? Do we just want to? Are we all thinking Clippers are gonna finish the series, or
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
I might go to
wouldn't-
7.
Yeah, I won't count Nuggets
Yeah.
out of winning the next game.
How about this? I'm gonna say if it's finishes in 6, if Nuggets win the next one, it's gonna be Nuggets, but Clippers
Oh,
will
shit.
win tomorrow.
I
If it
like
goes to
that.
game 7, give it
I
to
think
Nuggets.
I think Clippers are winning either way. I don't think Kawhi will let them
I
win.
think Clippers have it either way. Nah.
they have
Just wanna be
to jump on his
controversial.
foot when he's taking a jump shot? That's how the Warriors did it.
Brad.
So he's not denying. He knows it's true. That's
No
how you make
comment.
Kawhi should jump on his feet.
Yeah.
Zaza, sign
Look,
Zaza,
if
we're
it's
getting it
efficient-
ASAP.
If it's
We won't
efficient,
hang on this next one too much, but finals MVP so far.
So
What's
far,
everyone's thoughts?
so
So
far.
far.
It's got to be Kawhi, right? Or LeBron.
Kawhi or LeBron?
I think so.
I reckon LeBron.
For the leadership in general, I think.
I just think
LeBron.
in the East, the players are too spread apart. Like obviously,
Yeah.
like
It's-
you'd
it's-
think
it's
if
a
Miami
team
does
game.
win, you'd think
You could
Yeah,
say
exactly.
Jimmy.
you'd
You
say
could
it'll be
say
Jimmy
Jimmy.
Butler, but
You could.
literally
But they've
Dragic,
also had other players
Bam,
step up.
Hero,
Yeah,
maybe
right.
not Hero. He's
Can
like
you-
good, but he's not going to put up those numbers.
Hero.
But they could all go off for like
Spare me.
Dragic could quite easily go off for 30 plus a game. Like he is a scorer.
I love your
Do
optimism
you
for young
think
players.
Dragic
I
will
reckon
legitimately go
Tyler
off
Hero
for
could
30
score
plus?
50.
Who is going to stop Dragic? Who is a good point guard in the West?
Patrick
No, they're not
Beverley.
making it past Boston though, Hurtle. So it doesn't
That's the
matter.
thing. You don't have to worry about that. Yeah.
There's
gonna
no
go- if
way
they're going-
Dragic is dropping more than 30 points in 2 straight games. It just won't
Because
happen.
no one on Miami
In one
will. That's
straight
why.
game.
Now
Because
Mitch has
nobody
said
on
it's going to
Miami will.
happen.
No,
So-
it won't. I promise you it
It's
won't.
gonna, it's
He's
gonna
not-
happen now.
he's
You've
not
just
good
jinxed it.
enough to do
Mitch's
that.
Maltese.
He's not good enough. He's not good
Mitch's
enough to consistently
Maltese.
drop 30 points.
It's
We're gonna get to
coming.
Mitch's multis, and
I can't
Mitch is
believe
gonna
you
be
just
like,
Hurtle,
The
all right.
entire Miami team is spread across. So even the
Hurtle,
whole
I
point.
need you to
Shut up,
tell
Mitch.
me honestly. Do you seriously think Dragic can consistently drop 30 points?
No, because Miami's too spread evenly. They won't let one player score all the points. Is what I was saying.
You said Dragic can come out and drop 30 points on any given night.
He can.
Any
he just-
given night.
Yes.
It's not the freaking Turkish
If you
league.
need him to, if you say to Dragic, if you say to all of Miami, all right, Dragic is scoring 30 plus tonight, they will make sure he scores 30 plus. If the scores are 30 to 180, Dragic has scored those 30 points.
If you had said 20, 25, I would have been like,
Shut
yeah,
up.
but 30
He's
points.
the best point guard in the league.
Oh my
Fucking
god.
Second best.
Mitch's
Shut up, yes,
multis
that one.
chuck the house on a 4-0 sweep from Boston.
Right? What do we? I was going to say, do we want to? Well, who's? Wait, we won't move on yet. Who did everyone say for finals MVP?
LeBron.
LeBron.
I'm gonna go with Jimmy, just purely because of what he can get from his team.
No, I think currently. I
consistently.
thought. Oh, I thought we were saying up until this point.
Up until this point, I genuinely Jimmy.
You think Jimmy's
Yeah, he
been the
had
best
some
player?
quite-
I think for what he's getting out of his plays is absolutely phenomenal. Out of young guys, out of veterans,
Oh, for how
out of whatever
if
he
we're
needs.
talking about like how you can lead a
Most
team, it's
valuable?
definitely Jimmy.
In terms of
Yeah,
leading,
that's what
but
MVP, most valuable player.
without
Jimmy
Kawhi,
Butler.
there's no
talking
way the
MVP,
Clippers.
bro.
If Clippers
That's a
don't
good
have
point.
Kawhi, they're not going this far into the finals.
No, they're not.
But then
They're-
you could say the same about Miami. Without Jimmy, they don't get past the first round.
No, but I think that Clippers are worse without Kawhi than Miami are without Butler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jimmy
I
buckets.
think I'll agree.
Jimmy buckets.
Like, I love Jimmy Butler, and I think he's definitely top
Shut
3
the
for
fuck
that
up,
discussion,
Herschel.
just in terms of consistency and making everyone around him better. But if you're talking the most valuable person to their team, it's Kawhi dropping 30 a night for Clippers.
With that logic, though, how are the Lakers without LeBron?
Yeah,
Barely
exactly.
playoff.
13th seed. They're
Imagine
13th on the West.
imagine AD leaving the Lakers.
Ooh.
That's why I think it's
Imagine
Kawhi
AD
and
leaving
Chicago,
LeBron.
He'd be
they-
leading them out of Orlando. He'd be leading them to the fucking.
They wouldn't have
He'd be
made
leading them
Orlando.
to Splash Mountain, mate. That's
To
They-
Taco Tuesday.
AD's not a good enough
leading
player
them to
to lead a
Pirates
team
of
to
the
the bubble in the first
Caribbean.
place.
Get out of here! Come on.
I do love how Jimmy Butler is at the moment, though. I won't. I'm not. I can't talk any shit about Jimmy Butler.
No.
That's
That's my pick if I had to
You
choose.
should talk shit about Jimmy Butler.
Don't you dare.
Don't
He
you
was
dare.
he was too good at Philly, and they got scared.
They,
They did.
that was the dumbest mistake Philly ever made, was getting rid of
Yeah,
him.
right.
Letting him leave.
And he's shown it as well. But yeah, my pick's Kawhi.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
know
do we
you
want to
meant
talk
Kawhi.
about? Should we talk about
Defensive
next
teams?
series, maybe? I think we should
Or we'll
talk
talk
about
next
the
series.
games, and then we'll go to that, maybe.
Okay.
Miami in 6. Miami in
Okay,
6.
so I guess we'll talk about
Shut
the
the
Miami
fuck
Boston
up.
one then. I think
Celtics in 7.
Chinnick, you go first, yeah. Celtics
Okay.
in 7.
Look, I don't know either team that well. Not well enough to know. I feel like I've seen them. I know how they play now from watching just the last series for both. But it's kind of hard for me to tell how they're going to be against each other. But because of the depth that they both kind of have, it makes me think it's going to be pretty close. That's why I'm saying 7.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the kind of 7, not like they're up 3-1 and then the other one wins 3 in a row kind of thing. I think it's going to be like almost 1-for-1, like Celtics win 1, Heat win 1, Celtics win 1 kind of thing. Just because I think they
Herzl.
seem evenly matched. So I'm going to go Celtics in 7 just because I think they seem like they're a bit more coherent and they have the stronger players on the team. But yeah, that's me.
Okay.
Lockie, I guess you can go next.
Yeah, sick.
This is probably the hardest series we've had to do predictions for me, at least.
Me too.
Because Celtics
100%.
and Heat, they both have really the matchups for this series are awesome. To be honest, especially the backcourt or the guards, the matchup for these is going to be awesome. I reckon it's going to be like Chinnick said with trading games, but I wouldn't be surprised if one team just took over and did a 4-1 or something like that sweep.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Heat in 6.
Let's go.
Audio listeners, Turtle just lost his shit. This is the problem. You're not choosing Celtics or Heat. You're choosing Mitch or Connor. Which one do you like more? Connor, I said Celtics. Just so you know.
How many games?
Wow.
He said Celtics in 7.
Yeah.
Brad, what do you think?
I think the way I'm going to look at it is I'm going to match them all up together. I'm going to take Kemba over,
over Dragic, who's going to give you 30
over
points
Dragic,
on
who's going to give you 30.
given night.
I'm going to take
night.
He's
I'm
there.
I'm going to take Jason over Jimmy most nights. I think
That's a massive call.
hard. It's
Jason,
really hard. I think I'm going to
You
go
literally
Boston.
got that in your name, you dipshit, Mitch.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to
That's
go
a
Boston
tough
in
call. I didn't
7,
say it
and I
was-
think it's going to be close every game. It's going to be a battle. Boston in 7. I just think
All
the
right, so
weapons.
Brad likes Mitch more too. Perfect. Got it. Brad respects his friendship with Mitch more than he does his friendship with Connor. No.
Just be careful, boys. I have a pet shark.
Whoever loses isn't going to be. Whoever loses isn't going to be on the podcast next week, so that'll be too sad.
Oh, shit.
I don't think they're going to play all 7 games in that quickly. Chinnick,
No,
I
they'll
like
play
your
the 4
optimism.
that Boston win in by then.
Right, is that a
They're not even
wrong?
starting till Thursday. They're not even starting till Thursday.
Yeah.
They're giving
really?
Boston a nice
Oh,
rest.
shit.
Yeah.
Did you want to go first, Hurtle?
I guess I'll say. Okay.
Boston in 7.
Hear me
If
out.
you get a fucking
comes out
broom
to-
out, if you pull a
He says
broom out
Boston
from
in
under the
4.
table, I swear.
No.
Don't sweep. Don't
It's not
do
going to be a
it.
sweep. So, Miami lost 0 games in the first round. They lost
here we
1
go.
game in the second round. They're going to lose 2 in the third round. Miami in 6.
Hey!
Hear me out. They play just better as a team. I don't think you're going to get it. I don't think Dragic is going to have a 50-minute game and score 5 points because he hasn't got arthritis. No, so yes,
Fair
it is
call.
it is a call, and it's a biased call. I'll be honest, it's a biased call. Like what do you
it's
expect
gonna
from
be,
me?
right?
It's gonna be. I'm gonna tip it.
That's a
gonna
good
say-
point you bring up, Herzl, though. I think this whole series could depend on, because it's so evenly matched, how Kemba plays.
Yeah.
Because he does have
Yeah,
those
yeah.
How
moments.
long he lasts.
He has those moments where he's brilliant, but when your starting point guard, who's on a max contract, isn't he? He's on big bucks, and he scored 5 points in 50 minutes in a playoff game. That's a killer.
Would you take Dragic over Kemba if you were building a team?
If you're building a team, yeah, because Dragic is 34. I'm not going to choose a 34-year-old point guard, am I?
No, but just put age.
But he
out
can
of
give
it.
you 30 points a night, I
Say you're
would.
going win now, right?
Win
say
now.
you're going win now one season. Like this next season, you're building a team, and you've got Kemba or you got Dragic. Even just saying, just building it just for this bubble, for the bubble.
Just for the bubble. Oh, it's tough. It's
Are
because
you serious?
no, just for the bubble form. Kemba's been very up and down, whereas Dragic has been very consistent. Dragic will give you a consistent 15 to 20 points a game. Okay, I'll be honest. 30's gone out there. We know that was a very big exaggeration, but he'll give you that 15, 20 points a game, and you can expect that from him. But like Kemba, you don't know where you're going to get from him. You don't know if you're going to get man who lost to LeBron like 40 straight games, or man who can easily go off for 35, 10, and 8, whatever. Like, he's just too... You just don't know where you're going to get from him.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because he's got such good players around him, like Tatum and Brown, that he can let them...
Yeah.
That he can take a back seat, because he can take a back seat with those players. And that's why Boston is so deadly, especially in the first bubble game. We saw it. JT had a shocker, and they still... They beat the Bucks? I don't know if they beat the Bucks. They got very close to it.
I think it was like 2 or 3 points, but I'm also with you on that. Is Kemba, like, there has been a couple of games where he shot like I think it's been the last 2. He shot like 2 from 11 or something like that.
So he's due for a big
Like,
game.
but I'm also worried that something's wrong.
His knees are gone. His knees are...
No. His knees have been gone for like a year, haven't they? They've been gone for a few years.
But I think they're declining very quickly. That's why I think Hornets were like, let's not pay him.
You said Heat in 6.
I said I'm going to change it to 7. I think 6 is a bit optimistic, but
it's going to be a battle.
It's going to be a battle. I'm going to say Heat in 7.
No doubt.
Okay.
Mitch, you better not say anything lower than 6.
Here he goes.
Mitch has got a Heat logo
It
confirmed.
does say beat the Heat just under here. I don't know.
All I see is beat. All I see is beat.
Beat the meat for all.
Beat my meat. Beat my meat.
Run.
But let me go back to this. Just to show you here what a young player can do to our king, the GOAT.
Don't.
No, but in all seriousness, as both the series have gone on, I've gotten more and more worried about versing Miami, because every game they just show more and more what they can do, and it's really quite frightening how consistently good they are with different players stepping up. And that really worries me, because Boston can have games where someone doesn't step up to win it. I'm sure Miami will have those games. I'm really hoping one of them comes soon. But I feel like there's been a couple of times where Boston's gone, okay, like JT's having a quiet game, and other people will have a quiet game as well. But I don't think any game will be by more than 15 points, more than 10 points even. I think Boston would want to win it in 6. That's my prediction. I'm going to say Boston in 6, because if it goes to 7, I'm really worried about the fatigue. Purely because Miami have had 5 days break.
Yeah, they've had 2 short series, a 4-game series and a 5-game series, whereas Boston have had a rolling 7-game series that had a 2 overtime game.
So I'm going to say Boston in 6, because I do legitimately believe
what just happened in the background of Connor's audio? Fuck.
I do legitimately believe Boston can win it in 6, but I think what it will take is Kemba stepping up and having over 15 points a game. But I see us matching up well. I'm really worried about Bam, purely because Tice is slow, and I think
Tice.
I think Bam will be the big decider here, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Because I see every other matchup going pretty even. And even if Kemba isn't stepping up defensively, Marcus Smart will come up and guard Dragic.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
And he can switch on to Hero as well. Just in terms of rotation and stuff, Marcus Smart gets a lot of bench rotation, even though he's a starter. So I can see him locking up Dragic and Hero, even though Dragic can give you 30 and
bang.
Let me just look at this matchup really quick. Where is it? I had it up here.
Imagine coming to the Beans for intellectual conversation, and you hear Dragic can give you 30 a game.
Any given night.
I think what I said in one of the earlier podcasts on a few of the other games was it'll be the supporting cast that will decide this. It'll be if your star players, like if you're Jason Tatum and Jimmy Butler aren't stepping up. Who is? But I do believe Boston in 6. I think Heat will come out thinking that Boston are a bit tired and stuff, but with the young guns of Jason Tatum, and I don't know if you guys saw after the series today, they didn't look tired. There was just pure joy, and there was raw emotion. Jason Tatum arms up, all happy and excited. Kemba jumping around, looking keen. I seriously think that Boston will make the most of this opportunity, and they also do have a bit more playoff experience with that depth. And like Brad said, you know how Brad was saying that the young teams do better in lockdown things. With 2 young teams here, it'll come down to experience as well. So we've got a young team with experience, a young team without experience. I just see Boston sort of being that step above Heat.
Gone home now, guys. Fuck you, Mitch.
Going home.
Just look, this is all I'm saying. This is all I'm saying. But either way,
This is what I'm
it's
saying.
gonna be such a good series, and I'm so
This is what
excited.
I'm saying.
And
Mavs
I
in
think
4.
Herzl, you said this in the group chat, and we both sort of agreed on this. If it's not like if my team loses or if your team loses, hopefully one of us wins the championship, right?
Yeah,
That's the goal.
the goal is a Beans dub.
Oh,
But God, it's
yeah,
going to be
Beans
massive.
dub would be nice.
I seriously wouldn't be surprised if what do you call it? If Robert Williams gets a bit more game time in this, because
Robbie Williams.
Robert, the Time Lord.
Robert Williams, funny guy.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets some more minutes purely because he's a better matchup with Bam Adebayo.
Mm-hmm.
Even Grant Williams is better. Like I just think Tice is way too slow, especially with someone that can shoot like Bam. Even though he's not the best shooter, he's still a threat. I think as soon as you draw Tice out from the key, he just becomes lost.
So if Tice is coming off the bench, then he'll be matching up against Kelly Olynyk more as well. And Kelly Olynyk, as much as you don't like him, he spaces the floor really well for a big man.
I tell you, you know what's going to happen? Kelly Olynyk's going to hit a damn game winner, and then you won't see Mitch on any other Beans podcast because I will be dead.
I will die. I will never be
Kelly
alive.
Olynyk for Finals MVP? I will actually eat
Put money on that.
That's
I will
Put 5
eat
cents on that.
my clothes.
That is almost worse than you saying Dragic will give you 30 on
It's
every.
about 500 times worse, Mitch. I will eat something poisonous. I will eat a bottle of bleach. I'll eat the actual bottle. If Kelly Olynyk
better
gets
for you than
Finals
bleach.
MVP,
I will
call
chew
an
a
ambulance.
plastic bottle. I'll empty it,
I'm
I'll wash
so-
it, and then I'll eat it.
I'll eat
You
it.
watch. Video posted on Instagram when it
So,
happens.
should we quickly run over all defensive teams?
Yes, we should.
Do we want to just briefly mention it? We don't need to. There's not much to say, is there?
Yeah, I
about
think the first team. I think I was pretty happy with the first team. I think everyone was, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Except for
when it
AD.
came-
Was AD first?
AD was
Yeah.
first team, yeah.
Yeah.
AD,
Yeah, he should have
Gobert,
been
Giannis,
Me-
Smart,
who would
and
you-
Simmons.
What we sound like?
Me and Hertz will have a bit to say on the second team.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, let's go.
think
What to say.
should be in
Before
the
before we
first
go
team.
before we go second team, Brad, who would you put in above AD?
I don't even know, but like, let me get the teams up.
Bledsoe. So it was Giannis,
Nope.
AD, Gobert, Simmons, and Smart in the first team. And the second team was Bledsoe, Beverly, Adebayo. Yeah, I kind of got distracted after that because I just remembered 2 guys that shouldn't be there.
It was
Bam.
Brook Lopez,
Spaghetti
Brook
brain
Lopez,
doesn't-
Lopez. Oh yeah. Monkey
and
brain,
yes, it was
spaghetti
Bledsoe,
brain.
Lopez, Pat Bev, Bam.
Adebayo.
Who's the idiot that votes Pat Bev? Like, isn't there like
Bayless, probably.
50 media members or some shit
Bayless,
that have
Max
to vote?
Kellerman,
Like, they have to
Kendrick
actually
Perkins.
get on their computer, type it in. I want Patrick Beverley to be voted for this. Lots of idiots, apparently.
Weird.
'Cause that is stupid. He cannot contain anyone. He can
No.
talk a lot of shit and make you believe that he's really good, but he's
He just barks.
I think he's one of those blokes that goes, yeah, you know, they didn't score.
was
the points
Kawhi.
that
How
They
the-
scored on me.
It was
Kawhi.
Kawhi. We forgot about him.
Was he second?
Yeah, he was all.
He on second. Oh.
He could have been
I
powerful.
think he was the next person off. He was the next person off. First team. He had 33 first team votes, and
Okay,
Smart had
do we-
57 first team votes. So he was
Do
the
we
next
legitimately think that 3 of the Bucks players are all defense? Because I know that they're one of the best defensive teams in terms of stats. I remember hearing that they're up there. I think they're top 3, even maybe
You
even
got the
number
defensive player of the year in there, who's
Right.
going to
one.
help everyone else.
I think Bledsoe isn't. I actually really like Brook Lopez defensively, but I also think he's one of those players that he's just really good at sitting in the key.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the votes now. So Pat Beverley and Eric Bledsoe were the last 2 into the second team.
So Drew Holiday snubbed, and who else was the other
I
one?
think
Mitch,
Drew
that was
Chris
Holiday
decided?
Dunn.
would have been there.
Was
So-
Chris
next,
Dunn.
next
Yeah.
person
Chris Dunn was the first person to miss all defensive second team this year.
I think
Yeah, he was. Chris Dunn was the
love
next
Chris
best.
Dunn, and I know that he's one of your favourites, Lockie. But I'd probably put Drew Holiday in above him. I'm sorry.
I mean, like,
But
overall, yes,
not-
but stats-wise this year, Chris Dunn was battling first with Ben Simmons for steals per game and
Right,
steals
yeah.
overall this season, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that's it.
Mhm.
That was in the guards. So yeah, the next best was Chris Dunn, 31 points. And Bledsoe got 59 total points. So there's a bit of a gap between, which is a ridiculous gap that Bledsoe was that far ahead of him.
Yeah, no
But
way.
nonetheless, that was the gap.
Yeah.
Is Bledsoe was the last player in. Beverly was the second last. Chris Dunn and PJ Tucker and Jimmy Butler were all pretty close. 31, 29, 28. The next 3 in. Drew Holiday, Kyle Lowry, Jason Tatum. They were the next. They were like another few points
Oh,
down.
Jason Tatum. I don't mind
James
that.
Harden got 2 votes. I know
That's
Josh
someone
Wallace
taking
should-
the piss. That's
he
someone
does
taking the piss.
He does get a lot of
been
skills though. Someone who's only looking at stats, Ramona Shelburne. So that kind of person will vote James Harden, and like you're gonna see, he does get a lot of steals, but
There's no way he's all defense.
he should be getting all defensive.
But yeah, I think
Cool.
that those are the big ones.
Mitch's multis.
Mitch's Maltese, Mitch's Maltese, Mitch's Maltese, gamble responsibly.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is the mistake I made last time was I did a multi for the game that was on before the end of the before the podcast was released. So what I'll do is I'll do a future one for the Boston Heat game. I won't be able to give you odds on it yet purely because I can't actually put the multi on yet. But here's what I'm telling you to do once it's out, okay? So, you want to start off, Jason Tatum's going to come out and have a massive game. Put him in for over 30. It's generally a pretty good odds for him to do that. They doubt him, and I think that he'll come out. Actually, no, I take it back. Restart. I don't have it in front of me, so here's my problem.
Right,
But-
play the theme again. Let's go.
Bitches.
Mitch's multis.
So I think the biggest matchup for him, toughest matchup there is Jaylen Brown. I don't think Jay Crowder's slowing him down, even though they played together. Do Jaylen Brown for over 25, and do him to hit threes as well, because even though he isn't the consistent 3-point shooter, he shoots a lot of them. And yeah, so he'll be up there for the 3 points. Do Marcus Smart to give you 10 points and give you 5 assists, because they always doubt him. And for some reason, he's consistently giving you assists. Give Kemba Walker 5 assists as well, because he's not afraid to do it. Go Tatum for 8 boards, because he's Jason Tatum and the ball just attracts to him. Then go Bam Adebayo to give you 10 and 10. Jimmy Butler to give you 15 points. And Duncan Robinson to give you 12.
You're forgetting
And
Goran
Goran
Dragic for
Dragic to give you
30.
30.
There you go.
Yeah, Dragic
Dragic
is
for
hitting. Dragic is
Um,
hitting the first 100-point game in the playoffs. Did you guys look at that?
Oh,
Oh, is he?
shut
Oh,
up.
Yeah,
Really quick,
Please
a
don't
couple
like
of value
in the
picks for that.
NBA.
Tyler Hero to get 15 plus. He hasn't, since Herzl said that he hasn't gotten anything lower than it, but he
will.
will do it.
He hit
Put
big
him in for
shots.
15 plus, and do his 3 points as well, because for some reason they have him at like 2.5 threes, which he hits like over 3 a game when he's scoring. So
He's going to have Marcus Smart running around on him, though.
yeah, fair. But no,
That's
Marcus
true.
Smart will match up on Dragic or
If they get
Honestly,
Duncan
no,
Robinson and Tyler Hero on the court at the same time, Smart can't guard both of them, and they are the 2 best 3-point shooters in the series. No, not sure about how good Boston's 3-pointers are, but I'd say they're up there.
I think the biggest matchup the multi's over now, so you can play the outro. But I think just going back to this series,
Play the
I know
intro
we're gonna
backwards.
rush through because we've been going for a long time. I think the biggest matchup there is the guards for Boston. I see are better, and I think that the centre is better for Heat, and then the forwards are pretty even. Like Jimmy Butler and Jason Tatum are pretty close. I think the person that'll win it for Boston is Jaylen Brown. I don't see anyone stopping him or slowing him down.
Yeah, I get what you say there. Jay Crowder, he stopped Giannis because he stopped Giannis from getting past him. But when he was matching up with Middleton, he kept Middleton in front of him, which is where Middleton really wants to be, in front of you so he can shoot it.
And then if someone swaps onto him, like if, say, Goran Dragic stops onto him or something like that, because Goran Dragic's an alright defender, then I think that's when we'll see Kemba actually ball out.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to players to watch?
Yep.
Yeah, breeze over that quickly.
Yep. Brad, you start us off.
I would like you
See
guys
you
to
thinking.
continue watching. Could be his first or second game, like his last games, these ones. But Gary Harris, I want you to keep watching him and how important he is to that Denver team. Yeah, that's me.
Guess I'll go
You go,
next.
Lucky. You go, Lucky.
Go.
So I was going to lead into this with
You go.
something Mitch was saying. I am going.
No, Lockie, you can leave. You can
Oh,
go.
wow. Yeah, thanks. Great.
Hurts, you got to keep
So-
doing it until he's done.
Stop, you're distracting me. Mitch was going on and saying that I actually can't when you're doing that.
He's totally right.
The guards for Boston are pretty, I reckon they'll outmatch Miami, but Bam has such a good matchup against Tice that I reckon he's going to ball out and really help, at least push Miami into having a really close series with Boston. So I'm going to go watch Bam Adebayo.
Handball it off, Lockie. Who do you?
I'll give it to you, Mitch. Watch out.
My one to watch.
Catch it, Mitch. Catch it quick. It's coming. Catch it quick.
Got it. My one to watch, and I think it might be. I think someone might have said him. I'm not sure, but it's definitely it's Marcus Smart. He'll be one of the big ones to slow down some of the bench scoring from Heat. So Marcus Smart has stepped up a couple of times in the last few games, getting starter minutes. It'll be him. He'll give you 15 a game. And watch him defensively as well, because he's seriously like off ball when he switches, everything. He's just that good. He'll give you, even if he gives you 5 points, you want him out there. But yes, I'll handball that one over to Hurtle.
I'm going to pull this up there. But anyway, so my player to watch is Goran Dragic. No,
Oh, God.
Do
it. Dragic should score 30 plus. Hey, Bailey, can you see him there?
It's easy.
No, we can't see Bailey. Get on with it. Who's
Sorry,
your player to
Goran
watch here?
Dragic. No, it's Rajon Rondo. It's Rondo.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good call.
I like that.
Yeah, I'd like to see him get a few more minutes against the Clippers. If they do potentially match up against them. Yeah.
He's actually my
Rondo.
player not to watch because he's going to score 4 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists next game. Calling it now on the dot.
Dick.
On the dot.
Brad. What's the payout on that one?
So last but not least, Chin.
Oh,
Luka Doncic.
yeah, I'm going to say Damian Lillard. No, in all seriousness, I am going to say Jason Tatum, triple-double, game 1, putting it out there.
Shit.
It's happening.
Shit.
Watch him score 2
I'm not
points
against
now.
that.
Said
And
that.
just
I
on
said
that
it.
fact,
It's happening.
he had 9 assists, which was his career high in Game 6, and then he had 7 in Game 7.
Yep.
So he's definitely on track for it. He's been getting career high numbers in assists and rebounds. So good call.
Yeah, could happen. Could happen.
Sweet. Is that everything?
That's
Thank
that,
you
I
for
think.
watching the NBeanA podcast.
With
Thanks, Lucky.
in color, in retrovision.
In Technicolor again. Well,
Yeah, Lucky, do you wanna-
Now on black and white television.
Do you
Yeah,
wanna
plug
do
all the
an outro,
socials, Lucky.
Wow.
Go on.
Alright, so suss us over on Instagram, suss us over on Twitter, get us on YouTube so you can see our beautiful faces. You can get us on Spotify, you can get us on Apple Podcasts, and you can catch all of these on the link tree on our Insta.
Which is at Beans.
Good boy.
At
At
NBeanA, right?
BeanA.
At NBeanA.
At NBeanA.
Twitter is at NBeanA Podcast.
And before we sign off, I just want to give another shout out to Jai. If you have any questions for us, message us on any of our socials. We'll give you a shout out and we'll answer your questions on the podcast.
And if you're still here, don't forget to check out our other podcasts that are running. We've got the Chin Watched Movie podcast. That's my one. Sorry, I didn't mean to plug it.
Wow.
We've got the Music Bleachers episode 1 just came out of that. That's another mate Callum. We've got a one called Tits and Other Shit coming, which is that's more like women's health. So boo, we don't like that.
But everyone,
oh my
everyone
We
God.
support women's health.
Don't
That is a
say-
dick move, Chinik. Don't say that.
that
Everyone
is
tune in.
legitimately going to be the best one from
It is.
the podcast network.
Gonna get the most viewers, listeners.
It is 100%. They're going to
Yeah.
skyrocket past us. But yeah, that's everyone under the Beans Podcast Network at the moment. So go check them out as well.
Yeah, sweet. And if
Beans,
you guys want
beans.
to start a podcast, don't be afraid to send us a message.
Yeah, let us
got
know
a-
because we're sort of starting up our network and
Expanding, you know.
trying to get as
Providing
many
Big
as possible.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Sweet. Thanks for listening, and don't forget, for the people watching video,
The best court in the NBA
Everyone
right
watching,
now.
Don't forget, official under review right now at the Mavericks game. They're actually reviewing a call. So
beans,
let's-
beans,
Oh,
beans,
man,
beans,
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 This
beans,
is the best court in the NBA, by the way, guys.
beans, 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 beans,
Beans.
Goran Dragic for 30.
Fade it out.